Hey guys, it's Ellie, and video is for the and a last video I had to get noted and I just figured to go live because it's easier, even though the video may be choppy in some parts. Now, what I'm going to discuss is MJ fans' feelings on Lisa Marie. You guys have to remember that she kept her mouth shut after their ended. Yes, they were seeing each other for 4 months, but she was mad at him because he pressed her to have a baby, and then she saw that with she was mad at him because he pressed her, Lisa Marie, to have a baby. He said, "I need to make sure that both our camps are not going to be sticking their nose in our marriage, not just camps, but it was also Scientology as well. That Lisa was part of the time of her marriage to Michael Jackson." I feel that Debbie did in some way piss Lisa off, made Lisa feel like she was competition, even though Debbie herself offered to carry the babies if Lisa was not comfortable doing so at that point in time. Now, during that time period, because he didn't know what Michael was doing at that time. Now remember, Michael was pissed off at her for spending time with her ex-husband Danny, because Danny and Lisa had 2 children together, Riley and Benjamin. She was spending time with him so that he could spend time with their children. And in turn, Michael did not like that. Therefore, he would be gone for months at a time, and she would not see or hear from him. When he had the collapse in December 1995, prior to that, she was getting mad at his yes people because his yes people were giving him doctors to give him whatever he wanted, medicine wise, give him what he wanted. He didn't know how to say no. And because he was being pushy and kind of demanding, she kind of became distant because he was doing things that she was not comfortable with. And she had a right to feel that way. You know, she was talking to him and telling him, "Michael, these people are not your friends. They are giving you what you want based on what you tell them what you need. You need to have a backbone and tell them when to fuck off." Okay, that's one thing I don't as a fan. Me sitting here hearing this whole thing, the situation with Lisa and Debbie, you are the one. Michael is the one paying these people out of his own pocket. He gives them what they want, what he wants. He pays them. They tell him what he wants to hear. He pays them. But at any given time, he could be like, "Okay, you guys are intruding on my marriage. It's none of your fucking business. You're fired. I don't want nothing to do with you." But it got to a point where Lisa had to make the decision: is he gonna choose those people or is he gonna choose me? Not only was it that, he was telling, so if you don't have the baby or babies for me, Debbie will do it for me. And you don't have to. How do you think that makes a woman feel? Makes me feel like she has to constantly fight for a spot, in which she shouldn't have to feel that way. But because it was being so pushy, she said, "Go right ahead. You want to have children with Debbie? You go right ahead. I'm just going to sit here in my own business and deal with my own shit." But in retrospect, that bothered her. That hurt her feelings. It's not to say that she didn't want to have children. It's the fact that she did not want to go through a custody battle with those kids. If she were to have his babies, then have to file for divorce, then do custody agreement, 50, and then see me 50-50. Do we split time? Do they stay with him, summer? And I get to have them during the winter and spring. She didn't want to go through that. She started to really think, okay, do I really want to go through that process of carrying children and then at some divorcing him and then have to do a custody battle? Because I really don't want to do that. She was really trying to weigh out the outcome. Okay, this is what's gonna happen if I do this. First, don't do it. So she didn't do it, not because she didn't want to, because she did not want to go through a custody battle. And the reason she was taking birth control was to make sure that she did not get pregnant, because Michael was out doing God knows what, spending time with at Disneyland and getting away from her. He was pissed off at her for going to see Danny on vacation with him to Hawaii with their kids. But here is the other side that I have a problem with. Okay, as a fan, and this is me. Everybody else is gonna have their own opinion within the MJ fan base. You ask Debbie Rowe to be a surrogate of sorts for you and your wife Lisa. She offers to give you children. You and Lisa separate, but you guys see each other 4 years after your divorce. So it's a divorce. You and Debbie get married at persistence of your mother, Kathy. You have a son before Valentine's Day 1997. After he is born, you, wife, is carrying your child, your son. You are the one having a sexual relationship with your ex-wife, Lisa Marie. Well, Debbie is carrying your children, both Prince and Paris, on different periods of years. Prince being born in 97, Debbie and him marrying in 96, Paris being born in 99, him and Debbie divorcing in 1990. Same year, 1999, same year Paris is born. Okay. I don't get that. You ask Debbie Rowe to carry your children, but you marry her at the persistence of your mother, and then I her. You have a secret sexual relationship with Lisa Marie, which lasts 4 years. Your marriage with ends in 99, and even though your marriage ends in 99, you still have a sexual relationship with Lisa in 2000, and then it ends. All right, but if Michael was so persistent on having a child, he should have gave Lisa time to try to understand where he was coming from, because yes, she was married to him. No, they were not living together. She had her children with Danny. It was on her children to see their father. We'll get pissed off about that because, he's stepdad. But he's not comfortable with her seeing Danny and the kids spending time with their father. Sorry, but if your first wife has children with her ex-husband should be allowed to see his kids, whether you want them to or not. That is his right as a parent. He is the biological father of those children. He has his children. Michael was comfortable with that. But at the same time, don't speak to your wife because she spent time with her ex-husband Danny. She was allowing her children to see their father. You then go off to Disneyland or wherever you go for months at a time and not talk to your wife about upsetting. You shut down. You don't say shit, and then you appear at the 1995 VMAs, and your wife's got this weird kind of face like, "Where the fuck were you? I haven't been a month." And then you are trying to complete a contractual obligation for HBO. You then end up collapsing from exhaustion and other things that, lo and behold, you were going through addiction yet again to something different, not painkillers, and your wife is worried sick about you. Yet you have the audacity to push her away, and then and you say you're quote unquote blindsided. Michael, you knew exactly what the fuck you were doing. I love this man to pieces, but I don't buy this. I was going to divorce. No, Michael, you knew exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing to push her buttons to piss her off. Yes, you were mad at her for spending time with Danny and the kids in Hawaii, but that's her right. That's her right. Her ex-husband their children. Just because she's spending time with Danny does not mean she didn't love you. If she didn't love you, she wouldn't have married you. She tried real hard to put up with your shit, and you kept pushing your buttons and pissing her off. But at the same time, when your marriage ends to Lisa Marie, you married Debbie at the begging of your mother, because your mother did not want you to have children out of wedlock. Well, after you marry Debbie, you continue to have a secret sexual relationship with Lisa Marie while Debbie is carrying your two kids in separate years. And then Debbie leaves you because she can't handle being in the press. She can't handle people following her. She can't handle living her own life in privacy. Well, she's into you. I love you to pieces, but I don't like this way you carry yourself. And then you have the audacity to call her in 2005. You asked her if she still loved you, even though you put her through hell. She really did try. And when she told you she was indifferent, it's because she didn't know how else to deal with her feelings towards you and what you did to her. Sorry, but if you are a famous male celebrity and you're pressing a woman as famous as you, being the daughter of Elvis Presley, you do not pressure her to have a baby when she tells you our camps are not going to get involved in this, and that my religion is not going to stick their nose in as well. You need to respect that. And if you don't respect her boundaries, I have every right to leave you, even though she loves you. She loved you. She tried. What am I missing? Did I miss anything? Because this is the one thing that pisses me off. Yes, this man was a wonderful entertainer, singer, songwriter, musician, everything. But this behavior that I'm talking about is a big fat no for me. I love Michael Jackson, which is the next person. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, if black, white, indigenous, Asian, Hispanic, mixed. I love him just as much as the next person. But this behavior and how he treated his wife is completely uncalled for. And the fans would be sitting there saying, well, she was talking smack for several years. You got to understand, she was really that person. She did not want to publicly pants him in the media. Every time she would an interview, Michael was brought up in a question. Every time she released one of her albums, 3 of her albums, she was asked about him in a question. And it wasn't until she did the Oprah interview in 2010 is when she really sat down and said, look, this is why I want to explain this, what I was feeling, why I was feeling that way. And when you sit there and you watch the interview, you finally understand why she had to leave, why she was pissed off at him. That woman has dealt with so much in this life, it is not even funny. You guys gotta give her a break. Let her rest in peace. Her family grieve in peace. You're all giving her shit. Now that she's dead, you're kissing her ass. I was mad at her for a while. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. I was pissed off at her. But once I sat down and I watched the internet Oprah interview that she did in 2010, I understood her better because she tried everything to make it work. Absolutely everything in her power to make it work. And she just couldn't do it no more. She got tired of having to constantly tell him, no, you don't have the yes people in here. If you want this marriage to continue, who are you going to choose? You're going to choose yes people or you're going to choose me? Because if you don't choose me, guess what? I'm divorcing you and I'm moving on with my life and I want to be done with it. I want to be done. She had every right to do what she did, which was leave. It's no different than any of us who are not famous, who have to leave toxic relationships or marriages. Why is it so surprising to all of you? Celebrities go through the same shit we do, but it's happening in front of the whole wide world, in tabloids, on video, in interviews. It's no different than the rest of us. Why must you hate her so much? I don't get it. Help me understand something. Let this woman rest in peace and continue to be in peace, rest in peace with her family, her dad and her son and her second ex-husband. She deserves that 'cause she never had peace while she was here on earth. Everybody wanted to know her next move. Everybody wanted to know what was going to happen. Imagine being the only child of Elvis Aaron Presley and have the whole world see you when you're a baby. And then your father dying when you're 9 and your mother trying to shield you from the press while you go through puberty. And then when you're an adult, you have your first marriage. Your first marriage goes to shit. You file for divorce. You marry the most famous pop star of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Then you become tabloid fodder. Everybody thinks you're a joke. You divorce your second ex-husband and go through your third marriage. That one isn't as scandalous. And then you marry your fourth husband, and then that one goes to shit. And then while you're going through your divorce from your fourth ex-husband, you lose your son to suicide. And then because you don't want people to bother you, you become reclusive because you want to grieve in peace. You don't want people all up in your business. You don't want people hating on you, so you reside to staying at home. Only until you have your father's 88th birthday and have the movie Elvis be released. Then do you come out to the public because you let the whole world watching your every move, wondering what you're going to do next. And then you die at age 54, to which you finally get peace that you couldn't get on Earth. Because you're tired of having to have the press all over your ass and everybody criticize you for every nitpicky little thing, whether it's your relationships, your lifestyle, what your religion was, everything. This woman deserves peace now that she's no longer here. She couldn't get that in this life, and that's what kills me. Right now, as I am making this live, has been a month now since we lost her. And I'm still gutted because I actually grew to love her as her own individual self because she was married to Michael Jackson. She was a human being and she deserved to be treated like one. We owe her that. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. This is mine. You don't have to agree. Good day.